On a very fine summer day, we decided to drop into some of the iconic locations in the south of Estonia, and here are two of those locations. So we were headed to our first location, Suur Munamägi. Suur Munamägi means Big Egg Hill, and that's exactly what it is. Between the legend of the evil winning over the good, this place is filled with everything but splendid beauty. The hill in itself is 318 meters above sea level, making it not only the highest point in Estonia but also the highest point in the Baltics. A 50-kilometer range view can be seen from above the tower, which also gives you an aerial view of the closest town, which is Võru.
I've been to the highest point of Estonia.
And as Trinu said, I can now say that I've been to the highest point of Estonia. Excuse the extremely bumpy video footage, but the tower was first built in the year 1812 and the last renovation took place in the year 2005, wherein an elevator was also added to the tower, and I believe there's also construction happening as of now. Heads up on that. Just beneath the hill, there's a very nice cafe where we sat down to grab a quick bite of lunch and then headed to our next location. Vastseliina Castle is not just a castle but also, I could say, a complex which has a medieval theme to it but also has a pilgrimage house. It has a manor park, also a museum, and also there is hiking or nature trails included within the complex. Any exhibit within the museum can be touched or even tried, and we did have a little fun with it. There were some interesting topics on display here, like this witch's brewery and also a couple of torture instruments, all part of history, I believe. The upper level is a huge hall. One section had common household items and also a couple of agricultural equipments, and on the other side there is a huge tapestry demonstrating stories of different legends, and also there are multiple pictures of the castle ruins. Here's a scaled model to depict how the castle looked like back in the ages. As like for any castle, this castle is also sitting on a higher point and surrounded almost on all sides with a water body. Since this castle is also a pilgrimage house, there is a small outdoor chapel located right at the center of the complex. The history of this fortress dates back to the 14th century, and the miracle that happened here even back to the 13th century. And this structure that we're seeing here is the watchtower, which on top there are multiple windows giving almost a 360-degree view of the surroundings. Above the short other tower that we had in the complex, there was a stork's nest, and Trino was explaining how stork's nest was connected to fertility when it comes to married couples.
We in Estonia, this is a fertility symbol. So for example, in Estonian weddings, the newlywed couple usually finds the closest or the biggest, if there are several, stork nest, and
Like
they
this
try
one?
to. Well, this is a really bad place because you can't put any ribbons there. But the tradition is that you try to put your ribbon around the tree.
Now we are moving on to the last building within the complex, the Pilgrim House. So as we enter, a pea is put into a huge bowl which was used from the ancient days to count the number of visitors. Here we had the opportunity to try out the traditional pilgrim clothing, which is basically a long woolen cloak, a stick in your hand, and a hat, which could be worn for winter as well as for summer. The very sweet guide in this house mentioned to us that a couple of remains were found during the construction of this building and they had to be relocated to another spot with all due respect, and they believe that this could have been from the bad times in the past. This room down here basically has a theme of wine and board games. There's very good artwork in here which explains all of the effects that wine could have on human beings. A similar concept could be seen in the rest of the rooms. So, one room was about ailments and also the sacrament of anointing of the sick. There was also another room that spoke about the sauna culture. Then there was a room about kitchen, and also there was a couple of other household items that could be seen, and spices and herbs and the usage of all of that. Thank you once again to Trino for making this possible and also for being an amazing guide during the entire trip. So with this, I'd like to wind up with today's video. All the links to these places is going to be in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.